There was this thing gonna ask me, like, "You wanna go live? Are you sure? Are you really sure? Are you sure you're sure?" Alright, I guess let's turn this mother out, no?
Yes.
Alright, Steve, let's do it to it.
Hey, you dorks, this is Gunnar Hansen, Leatherface from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and you are listening to The Dorkening.
Hi, I'm Brian Johnson, and although you probably accidentally stumbled across it and have no idea why you're watching it, you are in fact watching The Dorkening.
Hello, this is Tom Kenny, voice actor, the voice of the Ice King on Adventure Time, and SpongeBob SquarePants. Ah, meow. Oh, Gary the Snail, too. Hey, guess what you're filling your eye holes and ear holes with? The Dorkening! Oh, I love the Dorkening. Very popular in Ooh. And Bikini Bottom.
Hi, I'm Lou Ferrigno. You're watching The Dorkening. And you know what? You don't like me when I get angry, so don't get me angry. You better keep watching The Dorkening.
Hey guys, this is Felissa Rose, and you're watching The Dorkening.
Hey guys, it's Courtney Palm. We're shooting Death House, and you're watching The Dorkening.
This is Anthony Michael Hall, and you're watching The Dorkening. Stay tuned. My friend's going to show you what entertainment's all about, baby.
The Dorkening.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Rise and shine, my sinners. When Father Evil starts his day, he gets a little deadly. Deadly Grounds coffee has the richest, smoothest flavor you'll find anywhere. It's sinfully delicious. Once you go deadly, you never go back. Order yours at getdeadly.com. Coffee's so good, it's scary.
Hey, what's happening, you hep cats? This is powerful Brandon coming at you. We are Leo-less. Fearless Leo there is on vacation, but he's always here with us in spirit. Hey guys, we're just gonna talk about some dorky stuff, and for some reason Brandon couldn't Photoshop the glare of the lights out of my glass. The picture he took this from. And we're going to talk about a few different things. And when I say we, I do not mean the royal we. I do, in fact, mean a plurality because I am joined here tonight by Steve from Super Retro. What's happening, Steve?
I'm good, Brandon. How are you?
I'm fantastic, man. You know, it's another wacky Wednesday here in Dorkland.
Yeah. And it seems like it's been about a month since we've done this, so
Probably because it's been about a month since we've done this, I would say. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that happened over the past several weeks because I mean we were prepping for Terrificon in
Terrificon.
Connecticut. And,
Leo went on vacation, and yeah, I mean, might as well start from the beginning because right when we were gonna do a big, there was so much shit that happened before Terrificon. We were gonna do. Leo was planning on doing something at Terrificon that never happened. San Diego Comic-Con.
he was planning on doing San Diego Comic-Con.
No. That's any podcaster's pipe dream is to attend San Diego Comic-Con. But I'm talking about like talking about San Diego Comic-Con on a live stream at the booth, but that didn't happen. I'm talking about there's so much shit that happened at San Diego Comic-Con. We never did a show on it, so might as well start there.
Sure. I mean, is there anything in particular that you would like to cite, my friend?
Marvel.
That's certainly a particular thing. Okay, Marvel, nailed it. All right, next topic.
No, I mean, given the fact that Marvel just revealed like their entire lineup somewhat for the next 3 years, and they're just talking about this phase 4, 5, and 6 is called the multiverse saga. And there's so much shit that they have on their plate. We're obviously getting Fantastic Four, and we're getting 2 Avengers movies. I'm trying to pull it up. This is what happens when you take screenshots on your phone.
Are you looking for the graphic that listed everything out?
Yeah, but I have it here. So
this is phase 5 that you're referring to?
Well, I'm talking about one thing that's going to cap off the multiverse saga. So this is phase 6.
Jesus. All right.
We're
getting plaid on that one, Steve.
Apparently, Feige said that Avengers movies are going to cap out the sagas. So, like, the Infinity Saga was Avengers Endgame and Infinity War. So now the ending of the multiverse saga is supposed to be, and this I'm complimenting them for giving us 2 Avengers movies in 1 year. May 2nd, 2025 and November 7th, 2025, the end of the multiverse saga, phase 6, the Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars.
Okay. Yep. Hey, look at real quick. Here we go, Leo. Hey, gents. Hey, Leo, what's happening, buddy?
Enjoy your vacation. What the hell are you doing on the stream?
He needs to make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to. You know, when the cat's away, the Brandon and Steve do what they want on the Wednesday night show. I think that's how the saying goes.
So those were the 2 out of the 3 things they announced for phase 6. They also announced Fantastic Four, which is supposed to come out November 8th, 2024. So out of the 11 films on phase 6 or 8 films in phase 6, those are all they announced. Okay. But they're supposed to announce everything else on Disney Plus Day or D23.
Okay, D23. Yeah, I was like Disney Plus Day. What the hell?
Well, Disney Plus Day is kind of similar to D23. So, but their Phase 5 lineup, their Phase 5 lineup, because Phase 4 is supposed to end with Wakanda Forever, which is in December or November.
It's certainly a month. We know that.
Yeah. Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania kicks off Phase 5 on February 17th, 2023. And then we get Secret Invasion on Disney Plus, spring 2023. And then we get Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 on May 5th, 2023. And then we get another Disney Plus series called Echo on summer 2023. Summer 2023, we also get Loki Season 2. July 28th, 2023, we get The Marvels.
Hold on 1 second, Steve-O. It's Sammy! How you doing, Sammy? That's Steve's lady love.
Hello, Sammy. And
yes, say hi, Steve.
Hello, Sammy. And yes, Leo Kang will be an Ant-Man along with MODOK. MODOK will also be an Ant-Man.
I believe Leo said that Kang will be an Antoine, which that sounds grosser, but okay.
Or maybe Ant-Man will be in Kang.
Oh, they'll finally get that how Ant-Man could have stopped Thanos theory, eh?
November 23rd, 2023 will be Blade. It's a movie, not a show. And we're going to a Disney Plus series in fall 2023 called Ironheart. Another Disney Plus series, winter 2023 or 2024, called Agatha, Coven of Chaos. Spring 2024, we're getting another Disney Plus series called Daredevil Born Again, which is going to be the longest Disney Plus series because it's going to be it's going to be 18 episodes and it's going to last like 2 to 3 months.
Nice.
And then the final film, well, there's 2 more films in Phase 5. We got Captain America New World Order, May 3rd, 2024, and the last film on that lineup is Thunderbolts.
Now, do you know what Thunderbolts is?
Yep.
Okay.
General Ross and Ross's team and Yelena
Belova?
Yep. That U.S. agent.
I'm trying to let you. I'm trying to let you do it.
I know. Zemo, Red Hulk. Fuck. I drawn a blank here.
So I would say this much. I can only assume, or rather, I imagine that in the MCU they are going to be named the Thunderbolts for General Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, like you had mentioned.
Yep.
However, the team, as it is in the comic books, had nothing to do with Thunderbolt Ross.
Right.
They were a team that posited themselves as like a new version, essentially, of the Avengers. They had some similar power sets and what have you. All new characters, individuals you had never seen before, or so we thought. And it was revealed fairly early on that they were actually put together by Baron Zemo, and they were all villains, super villains who were posing as heroes to gain public trust, to make it easier for them to do all their world-controlling machinations. It seems as though Val is likely going to be the major player on this. That's the character played by Julia Louis-Dreyfus that we saw in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and was actually all we saw her in so far. Can't remember, but yeah.
Black Widow's post credits.
That's what it was. Yeah, the post credits for Black Widow, where she meets with Yelena at Natasha's grave. So she's clearly going to be like the heavy for that. And that's where we're going to see sort of like a dark mirror version of what we've come to know as the classic Avengers. That's why, instead of Captain America, we're going to see US Agent. Instead of Black Widow as we knew her with Natasha, we'll see Black Widow as represented by Yelena.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did their best to get either the Abomination, well, maybe She-Hulk at first, and she's like, no, I'm good, I'm a lawyer, and then they go for the Abomination to be their like Hulk stand-in. Who knows? But it'll be interesting.
I'm sure we'll find out next week after She-Hulk premieres. But coinciding with back to what I said about Secret Wars and Fantastic Four, apparently Giancarlo Esposito was announced, or he met with Marvel over something, and he was interviewed by it, and he said, I'm not going to say what it is, but there's 4 roles I want to be for. One of them is Doctor Doom, which I know you don't like. Another one is Dr. Freeze or something like that.
Yeah, I actually did read that, and I don't know who the fuck Dr. Freeze is. I know who Mr. Freeze is from Batman. So, like, that's a weird tidbit of info.
And then the other one is like Professor X, which is the one he was campaigning for, which I can't see. But
honestly, I can't.
And Magneto.
I can't see any of them, honestly.
No,
and
me neither.
That's not a comment on Giancarlo Esposito's talent at all. It's just that after everything that they've gone through time-wise, through the phases so far with the actors, the performers in these movies, I just have a lot of difficulty believing that Marvel Studios and Disney would hire a 64-year-old, or at the time that the movie's made, 66-year-old guy to play Professor X, Magneto, or Doctor Doom. None of that makes sense to me at all.
They also said this Fantastic Four movie is not an origin story. So I think they were tired of seeing so many Fantastic Four origin stories.
But what does that have to do with his age? First, well, and never mind the fact that Doctor Doom is supposed to be Eastern European.
Right. And he pulled that off with Breaking Bad a little bit because he had
he didn't, because he was South American.
Right, but he had connections with Eastern European.
Yeah, but he was not Eastern European. Like, he is quite clearly, I mean, he himself, I believe, is half Italian, believe it or not. Yeah.
I messed up on that. But I mean, if you're behind the mask and you have a voice, I don't think it matters, does it?
Yeah, it most certainly does. I mean, there's a reason why. Listen, there's very few people that are going to be willing to just be in a mask for the entirety of a movie and never have their face seen. That's the reason why. Oh my God, what the hell is his name? He's kind of a high voice too. A British actor. That he was on that show, The Following.
I don't know.
James something.
James Spader.
No. James Purefoy.
Okay.
James Purefoy was originally cast as V in V for Vendetta.
Oh.
And he ended up having to leave the production because they required that his character wear the mask, the Guy Fawkes mask, the whole time. And as an actor, he couldn't do what he knew how to do, because so much of what you do is with the eyes, and being able to see one another, how to interact. And he found it increasingly difficult, and it was essentially like cutting off some of his senses. And so he ended up having to leave walk away, and Hugo Weaving came in and took over the role.
Yeah.
And Hugo Weaving did an apt job with the role, but that's not a normal occurrence. I mean, there's a reason why instances where something like Hugo Weaving doing that, or Carl Urban not taking off the helmet for the entirety of the time he played Judge Dredd in the movie Dredd, are the exception and not the rule.
Yeah.
You know, it's a performer does what they do because they love it, but they also need the exposure to make sure that people understand that it's them and they know to like it or what have you. And you know, it's just I don't think, especially for Giancarlo Esposito, I think you'd be doing him a disservice covering his face the whole time. But yeah, okay, so Leo just said, you know, Mando for the Mandalorian, but even in the Mandalorian, he did not wear the mask the entire time.
Right.
I mean, that just
I don't
proves
think
my
he
point.
wore. Well, no, the guy, what's his name? Pedro Pascal. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was under the helmet, but didn't wear it all the time. But Giancarlo didn't wear a helmet or anything at all. So
Yeah, but I mean, I'm talking comparatively, like, you know,
yeah,
the way the characters are represented and represented and what have you. I just, for the most part, I get that they're saying it's not going to be an origin story, but don't think that means that the Fantastic Four is going to be in their 50s and 60s.
no.
I think that would be folly to believe such a thing.
I mean, we've beaten the other casting announcements past shows like with the Dead Horse. So I mean,
Yeah.
I know you voiced your opinions on certain ones, and to be fair, I'm perfectly fine with whoever they cast. I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, right now both studios are kind of up in the air right now. We'll get to one property in a little bit.
Hold on, let me talk to this fucking guy who's on vacation real quick. Leo, his acting with the helmet worked well. That's fine. The point I'm making is he did not wear the helmet the entire time. Even Pedro Pascal's face was shown in the show more than once. And the point we were making is that, well, Giancarlo would just be wearing a mask the whole time. And that's likely not going, I mean, that's not going to be the case. He there's no way. In regardless of, I said, it being an origin story or whatever, I don't think that they're gonna hire in a cast in a higher age bracket because they want longevity. They want to get as many movies and projects out of these people they are contracting to play these roles as possible.
And if they're doing Secret Wars, they're gonna need like a younger Fantastic Four because I think they're very, especially Doctor Doom, from what my co-host told me, because I didn't know shit about Secret Wars. He's very pivotal to Secret Wars.
Well, yeah, he is a fucking pain in the ass. Well, hold on. Which Secret Wars?
It just says Avengers Secret Wars.
No. I'm saying like what he told you about what, because there's two different series.
The one that has the board of the different things where they're battling on, or like different.
That's you're talking about Battle World, and that's in both of them. That's the tricky. Was it from the 80s or was it from just a few years ago?
From the 80s.
Okay, so that's the first one. Gotcha. That's fucking Leo. Star Wars, Secret Wars, Venom confirmed. Oh my god. Yeah, Spider-Man wasn't an origin story, and look how young he is. Exactly. You know, I think. Thank you, Leo. I honestly do think that.
Yeah, you should just hold up the mask behind your
I
head.
know, right? But Leo on my shoulder makes me happy. No. Little John Denver,
to Brandon. To Brandon.
John Denver action for everybody. But yeah, I honestly, I would love to see Giancarlo Esposito take over some kind of badass role. I just don't see him being able to take over the kind of role that we're talking about. Even with Professor X, and we love you too, Leo. Thanks, buddy. Leo says he loves us. He love you. I love you guys. LOL. He's drunk. He's drunk with Megan. That's what's happening. He's making all kinds of spelling mistakes, like, damn autocorrect and alcohol. Yeah, the and alcohol part, I'm sure.
The answer to and the solution and answer to
The
everyone's
cause of
problem.
and solution to all of life's problems. But yeah, I think even with Magneto and Professor X, you're likely looking at guys in their 40s to play the roles, because they'll likely skew the X-Men down to, like, early 20s,
Yeah.
because they want to showcase the school portion of it. They show the first class the way that Marvel wants to have them represented. And we're talking, classic Iceman, Beast, Cyclops, Jean Grey. I'm missing someone.
Mystique.
No. Cyclops, Iceman, Beast,
Storm.
No, Jean Grey. I'm missing a person. What the fuck? I am having a total brain fart right now. You're citing new X-Men. I'm talking about classic X-Men. This is like before Wolverine came in. The
I don't
first class. Yeah, it's classic X-Men. Here we go. Nope, that's not it. That's
yeah,
not it.
pretty much. There was so much that was going on at San Diego Comic-Con. That was pretty much like the big thing. And I know that was like the one thing I was looking forward to talking about, but we took that Wednesday off and we had Terrificon, and it was just like, so yeah. But I know we have a lot of other stuff we have to talk
Yeah, I
about.
mean, well, we're 26 minutes in, man. Fucking talk about what you want to talk about. It's fine.
No, I know you want to talk about certain
I want to
things.
talk about everything, man. That's part of the reason we do this. So, yeah, lay it on me, Steve. Fucking bring it on.
Well, we're gonna get to it eventually. I mean,
okay.
I mean,
Oh, you don't have to yell at me, Steve.
I'm
I'm just busting chops, buddy. I'm just busting chops.
I mean, it's gonna segue if even if I mention it, it's gonna segue into our big discussion. But, Ezra Miller can't catch a break, can he?
Well, I mean, sounds like he's actually caught several breaks, because up until recently, he was not getting arrested for the things he was doing.
No, earlier this week he was seen going cross country armed, paranoid that the FBI and KKK were after him, and now he was caught in Vermont for felony burglary. With everything that happened to him, I don't think he's even going to make the red carpet of The Flash.
Well,
unless Warner Brother bribe him off.
Or I'm just playing devil's advocate a little bit here. I don't really think this is a bad thing per se. I mean, he clearly does need to pay legal penance for the things he's done. However, I think it's pretty clear at this point in the game that Ezra Miller has some kind of mental health issues.
Yeah.
And it would be really, really nice to see him get the help he needs.
Yep.
And if anything, it would be great to see Leo saying Flash reshoots announced. Well, no, the Flash reshoot. No, they weren't announced, Leo. They were reported as having taken place already. Like, they were already done like a month and a half, 2 months ago. It was before all of the bad shit happened. That's what's being reported. They did reshoots then. So it's not that they're doing things now to fix whatever damage. It's they did the test screening and then they did some reshoots back in like June. That's what's being reported. And Black Adam post-credit scene added that will supposedly change the DCEU. Fucking Leo, do you want to come on the show? I swear to fucking Christ. No, I'm just kidding, dude. You keep on commenting, and we'll keep on showing it for a second and still talking about what we want.
Mine as well. That's the main thing. They said Black Adam and Flash are still a go, but Batgirl is not. They shelved Batgirl.
Yeah, that's a hard look, man. You
just
have
to save $20 million at which was it cost them
to save $90 million.
70. Yeah, my math was off.
$90 million. Because it fell within a loophole because of the merger between Warner Brothers and Discovery. So it was one of those things that was right on the bubble for what they could write off to try to bolster their profits for their first quarter. And that and Scoob, whatever the name of the sequel was like some haunted house thing. They were right there on the chopping block. It does suck though, because I was looking forward to seeing Leslie Grace play Barbara Gordon. I think she's a very talented and beautiful actress. And it's just not a great look for Warner Brothers anyway, considering like, oh, you finally had like you cast an Afro-Latina actress in this pretty big role altogether from the DC universe, and you just put the kibosh on it. So like, yeah, that's rough. I don't know how they're gonna find a way to kind of like fix that essentially.
I don't think they can, because they're already with the Warner Brothers and Discovery thing. I mean, we'll get to that. We might as well mention it now. I mean, before we got on live, like you were saying, like you saw an article that really wasn't true, and it kind of pissed you off a little bit. Like, I think it was fudge. I get hyped up in adrenaline so much, and it's
really, you should show it more.
I was actually pre-gaming before this show because I'm so excited, but
like Jesse Spano from Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, pretty much. Because I'm
so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so scared.
Just the fact that Leo isn't here and I get to rip on DC so much because the Batgirl's going downhill. Ezra Miller's on the verge of going to some facility. He can't mute me or can't, shut my mic, can't shut my camera off.
I can though, right? Oh shit! I better be nice.
But yeah, the article you were talking about with HBO Max expecting to lay off 70
fucking go. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
70% of their staff and move away from scripted TV. Yeah, I call bullshit with you on that.
Yeah. All right, kids, listen to me. I have been reading any number of sources for entertainment news for, my God, what is it, 2022? So, Jesus Christ, 26 years, okay? And there is a particular individual that has been part of having to like wade through all of that bullshit. All right, over the years. And he was the one who originated this fucking whack ass report that I don't have anything to say about the percentage of people who are going to get laid off. I don't know what their numbers are on that. I don't have enough hard data to make a call one way or the other. That's a full on like payroll staffing thing, and I can't speak to it. I don't know the ins and outs and what the hierarchy is of that and what their organizational layout is. All right. However, I will say just from a not even a business perspective, a logic perspective, okay? This particular individual who used to report for Latino Review, he went by the nom de plume of El Maimbe, and he was so wrong so often on his big exclusives and big deals that he knew for a fact were going to happen that he started to become known as El Maybe. And he has since moved away from Latino Review. He works for therap.com. His name is Humberto Gonzalez, and he is the person that put forth that Warner Brothers Discovery is going to get rid of all scripted content from HBO Max, which is the dumbest fucking thing I've heard this week. For sure. And the only thing dumber than someone reporting that as if it were a thing that was going to happen, between the merger of Discovery and the fucking movie studio that they just spent billions of dollars on, is the number of dipshits out there that believed that and ran with it. Like, I want everyone to think very hard, no matter what you may think about their upcoming plans, the very little they've said about the overall future, and the very specific items that they have in front of them coming up, like Black Adam or The Flash. Do you let me just ask, do you honestly think it makes sense for them to get rid of anything that's scripted? Think about the content of HBO Max. All right? That's movies and television shows that were created and written for people to perform in. All right? We're talking about fictional characters. If you remove those types of projects from HBO Max, you are literally removing 99.5% of everything on HBO Max.
You pretty much have your live talk shows that were on HBO, like this week with John Oliver.
But even that's scripted. So
not his rant that he made on Warner Brothers Discovery.
maybe not. But regardless, I mean, he has a room full of writers. I mean, they write that show. It's not like off the cuff. It just doesn't make any sense, gang. Like, just use common sense, use logic. There's no earthly reason why they would do that. Now, who is this? Oh my fucking god, it's Leo.
Hello. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you great, man. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I got my headphones on, so I don't know.
Oh,
I turn this up.
you're good, man. Should I change the layout here? Can I? Is this good?
There we go. Yeah, you can change the layout.
I just don't know. Let's see. There we go. Perfect. Wonderful. I haven't played around with this enough, So yeah, it's just, it's so enraging to see that somebody who has been reporting on movies and entertainment news for years put this thing out there, and everyone is just absolutely like ready to believe that, and it doesn't make sense. Like I said, you can feel however you want about things that are getting canceled or things that are being done, but that is asinine. To believe that they're gonna get rid of everything. I mean, you think that HBO Max isn't gonna have episodes of Sex and the City on it anymore? Come on, son. I'm not saying I like that show, but it was a pretty big fucking hit for them. It's definitely the only place you can go to see it. So why would they get rid of it?
I mean, with Warner Brothers and Discovery, with the merger happening next year, It would be a pipe dream. I know they're having the Discovery. I know Leo watches the Discovery Plus. And I know the Skinwalker Ranch is on there, and I know a bunch of the other shows are on there that
Oh
you
boy,
like.
do we know fucking Skinwalker Ranch is on there. Oh boy.
We were actually just talking about that.
Of course you were. Hi, Megan.
Yeah.
What I'd love to see is some of the older shows like Dirty Jobs, Mythbusters, like the old Mythbusters, not like the new Mythbusters and Mythbusters Jr. that we've got in the past couple of years. I'm talking about like 2003 Mythbusters to, that's what I'd like to see come into the merger. That's just me.
Well, I thought
Hold on, real quick from Fachi Book User. Oh, okay, it's Justin. Fuck, he said it just as I was making fun of it too. He's Coop, by the way.
You know, if Coop's watching, he can hop on just like me.
Yeah,
you know?
no shit, right? Fucking Steve and I are in the chat beforehand, like, hey, who's gonna join? Join. Oh, okay, I guess it's just us. Fuck it, let's rip it. But yeah, Justin said DC is headed down the path of Image and Valiant Comics, great characters and poor choices from ownership. Well, I mean, maybe we haven't seen what Discovery is going to do yet.
No.
Well, it definitely sounds promising with I know there was a lot of knee-jerk reactions with the announcements that, talking about HBO going to be eliminating scripted shows and, the guy coming from Discovery.
Did you just fucking hear anything I said, Leo?
No.
Oh my fucking Oh my. Okay, listen to me right now, Leo. I swear to fucking Christ on everything that is holy.
No.
Before you repeat, grab the mask.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm not saying I believe it. I'm just saying there was a lot of knee-jerk reactions with people saying that.
Yes, because people are stupid.
Yeah, but with the actual audio recording of the guy that's taken over from the
David Zaslav.
Yeah, did you hear that audio recording where he's talking about he wants to, go back to the core characters? It's true with DC. They've been veering away from like Superman and Wonder Woman, trying to do all these alt characters, which is great. But they really need to get the core characters down first. And it sounds like that's what they're going to go back to.
Yeah, I didn't hear the audio from that. However, there was an infographic that he had used as part of his presentation to shareholders, I believe. And the graphic itself, it actually it broke everything down, and some people were like, oh, what the hell? Because it was saying like, oh, HBO Max is male skewing with most of its audience, and Discovery Plus is female skewing, which some people got bent out of shape about. I'm like, but that's demographics, gang. Like they're straight up looking at who watches which one more. So like they weren't making assumptions. That's weighted. Like they know that guys watch HBO more and that women watch Discovery Plus more. That's what that's based on. But the infographic, it was very interesting. Oh, yeah, I think I'm gonna found it. Yeah. Yeah, this is part of it. Let me open. Open image in your tab.
Facebook user, there's a big scam about house hunters. If you want to hear about it, I can mention it. If it's all what the hell is it? As you're watching the three houses that they choose, you'll notice one, there's no furniture in it because they found a couple that already bought a house and they build the show around that purchase, and all of it's acting.
Okay, kids.
Oh yeah, I saw this one.
Yeah, so if you see, this was part of it. See the right here is the earnings call. And they break it down by brands and franchises, as well as iconic series and characters, and international branches and channels, what have you. Now, if you see franchises right here, it specifically shows Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman. Boom. Brands, HBO, Discovery, CNN, Home and Garden Television, Cartoon Network, DC, Looney Tunes. And then franchises, aside from the Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, we see Discovery Shark Week. That's a no-brainer. That's a given.
Yep.
That's a smart one. Game of Thrones, specifically for HBO. 90 Day Fiance Universe, which I saw some people being incredulous about that. However, as far as I'm concerned, they were late to the party on finding that to be fucking insane and unbelievable, because I lost my mind when I heard the term 90 Day Fiance Universe when they were pushing Discovery Plus as a new streaming service all over Food Network, because my wife can't shut that fucking station off. All right. It's like, listen, I don't mind Guys Grocery Games. I do mind Guys Grocery Games when it's been on for 6 hours in a row on my television. There's a big difference.
But what about Supermarket Sweep?
I mean, I haven't seen Supermarket Sweep since I was like fucking 9. I don't think I've seen it since Don Adams was the fucking host.
That's got to be an exception, though. Supermarket Sweep's awesome.
And then as a Warner Brothers specific franchise, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. Like, it's very segmented, everything that they have lined up here. But it is important to note for comic book movie nerds and dorks that the franchises themselves that are put forward here on a fucking earnings call to shareholders is Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman. And that's the trinity in the comic books for DC for a reason. And it's clear to me that as they are trying to pull things together and make sense of everything, they already understand that. That's heartening.
That's just me. Also, it's Zaslav, right?
Yeah, David Zaslav.
Yeah. So, from what I read, he's talking about a 10-year plan with DC, because he believes that Marvel is going to go through a 10-year lull, and he thinks at the 10-year, that's when they're going to reboot Marvel. So that's when we're going to get Iron Man back, Captain America back, and he's basing a lot of that based off of the recent Thor saying that it hasn't been doing too well, which I just saw. I absolutely loved it, but it's
yeah, it was a good movie. I mean, I don't think it was as good as Ragnarok. It was a little slapdash in places, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
I liked it.
Yeah. And Mephisto confirmed.
There's a couple things that really fucking irk me about what you just said, Leo. In no particular order. One, I know you're just saying it to fuck around, okay? Secondly, it's fucking Mephisto. Mephisto.
Leo doesn't have
Mephistopheles, Leo. God damn it.
Leo doesn't have a soundboard with him, but I do. So maybe
Oh, son of a bitch!
Hopefully that went through.
That was great.
well, no, I mean, so I saw a video and I wasn't too sure if it was legit, and I saw it in the theater where, Satan's mentioned in the from Zeus.
Also, didn't Zaslav say that he will not put a movie out unless he believes in it?
Yes. He said, yeah, we will not put a movie out that is not ready to be put out. And so that is also, I think, part of why they ended up shelving Batgirl.
But they're still putting out Flash with everything Ezra Miller's going through.
Let me finish my sentence, sir. Thank you. All right. The reason why is because they've specifically already said they do not want to make DC superhero movies for streaming. They are theatrical projects. They are cinematic projects. Batgirl was shot specifically to be, and I don't mean this in any derogatory way, I really don't, but it's true. Like on the face of it, it was shot to be an expensive but still television movie. It was not shot or ready to be released in a movie theater. And rather than release it into theaters, instead of putting it solely on streaming, they assessed it and said this will likely only hurt the brand even more if we put this in theaters to try to actually get a turnaround and profit from it. We're better off writing it off as part of the merger and moving forward. From a business perspective, it makes absolutely perfect sense. I don't think they were doing it to fuck anybody over. I really don't. And they did specifically make a statement like right away saying we want to work with the directors and Leslie Grace again. Like this is not a comment on the quality of the movie, on the quality of their work. I mean, they came right out and said that. You know, I get the fiscal weight behind the decision that they made. But The Flash was made to be a theatrical cinematic release.
Yeah.
That is why you are not seeing a problem with them releasing The Flash insofar as just the project itself. That's barring any issues from Ezra Miller. That nothing that they can currently control. All right. What they are doing as Warner Brothers Discovery, though, that movie was made to be a big tentpole. They put a lot of time and money into it. There's a lot of talent involved with it. And quite frankly, I think it's probably the right move for them to look at hopefully having this be a big deal and still trying to figure out what they can do about Ezra Miller in the meantime.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's unfortunate that Batgirl was a casualty of this. But hopefully, maybe, fingers crossed, Leslie Grace gets cast, by them in another even bigger DC project. I would fucking love that.
Well,
honestly.
not just Batgirl. Keaton. This was supposed to be a big. I mean, not that Keaton needs it, but a big sort of return for Batman, even though he's going to be in Flash. But supposedly he was going to have a bigger role in Batgirl. And also, who's the guy on? Who's the robot on Doom Patrol?
Brendan Fraser.
Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, him coming back as what? Firebug?
Firefly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
the other thing too, though, is I did hear that Keaton's Batman in Batgirl, it looked like kind of a really expensive Party City Batman costume he was rocking in it.
Yeah.
So that doesn't sound great.
Well, also, I read in some of the test screenings, some people were confused with another Batman.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's great that we all know that there have been different iterations of Batman and that the actors who have played several, a few to several of those iterations are still like around and clearly willing to play or whatever. But like, there hasn't been enough consistency throughout all of the DC movies for them to like Spider-Man No Way They're Home out of that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, one thing with keeping the Flash, we don't know the storyline, but maybe there are elements of that they'll use in that towards the DC reboot.
Yep.
Yeah. We're still also not quite sure if how long Walter Hamada is going to stick around. He was ready to walk out the door just several days ago, and he was convinced to like stay until at least Black Adam is released.
I think that's the last thing I heard was after Black Adam.
Yeah, but that's the thing is like what's being reported is he was like, no, I'm gone, and they like Warner Brothers Discovery was straight up like, no, like we just give us a little bit of time, stay here until at least Black Adam comes out. Let's work together, see what we can figure out, and if you don't want to be here, then you can leave. I mean, that's reasonable, especially when you consider that regardless of what a lot of people may think about Walter Hamada and any of the weird stuff that happened with Snyder and Ray Fisher and what have you, I can't speak to any of that. It's a very weird situation, but straight up, like Walter Hamada coming in after Justice League, the only thing that was already in production at that point altogether was Wonder Woman 84, and that was being turned into like a straight up Patty Jenkins joint. But he was directly involved with, funny enough, both Jeff Johns produced projects of Aquaman and Shazam, and then Jeff Johns got pulled from everything because of all the accusations made by Ray Fisher and what have you, and they ended up being big successes. And so far, he also is one of the people that was involved with, Peacemaker and the Suicide Squad. Even if they didn't make a lot of money, they were all like critically, well, I don't want to say lauded, but they were certainly given the thumbs up, and that right there, reputation wise, is very helpful for them trying to reestablish and revive the brand altogether.
Yeah.
So it might be worth their while to have him stick around and hopefully be able to continue to shepherd it towards greener pastures, as it were. Okay, I guess I'll just keep talking.
No. Steve took a breath in. I was just waiting for him to like bash DC or something.
No, I literally, after I said what I said, you jumped on, and I am just so happy to see the turn of events that's been happening with HBO Max and Discovery. I'm
like, how so?
Just I don't know. I'm happy, but I'm not happy. I don't know. I'm content. I don't know what to say. You guys say that I bash DC a lot, but
I don't say that. Leo says that.
I know.
Well, it is true, Stephen.
I said it, Steve. It was me.
Okay, here's the question. Why are you happy? Are you happy because there's a possibility that HBO is going to be suffering from this, or are you happy because there's, a road to possibly some awesome DC stuff?
Yes, both.
Okay.
I mean,
indubitably,
I can neither confirm or deny both responses. I think both. Yes, DC is going to put out good content. They always do.
Do you want them to succeed, or are you actively rooting for them to fail? Or do you not care? I think those are fair options.
I would like them to succeed. I really would.
So you want them to succeed. So are you saying you want them to succeed, but you might be expecting them to fail? Is that fair?
Yes. But yes.
All right.
But
you pessimistic asshole. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm just the business practices behind HBO Max and all that stuff and Warner Brothers. That's just it's kind of concerning, it's kind of similar to Marvel with Disney's business practices. It's just like, okay, one of these things is not like the others. It's just both corporations have their business practices and they're both being really shady right now. And they're treating both properties, yes, we just talked about Marvel's 10-year plan. We're talking about DC's 10-year plan, but both properties aren't benefiting from it. Batgirl got scrapped. Some movies haven't been announced for Marvel. So,
I wouldn't say that Marvel not announcing the entirety of their slate for the next 10 years is not benefiting from their decisions.
I was being
They,
sarcastic with the 10-year part, but you know what I mean.
well, you know, but yeah, I mean, okay, let me throw that back. You know what I mean? Like, I just mean they did announce like a pretty big slate, but just because they didn't announce like every single thing straight up, I wouldn't say that doesn't work to their benefit. I mean, you're gonna keep a little bit of mystique and wiggle room.
Oh yeah, it's more marketing because you release everything now. We're all going to talk about it now, but
then
you just
you have
pepper in
nothing to
stuff.
get everyone excited in a couple more years. Whereas, like, you still remain part of the conversation and have something to contribute to the larger, pop culture goings ons and zeitgeist. I would say though that Zaslav's assessment of Marvel hitting a bit of a lull within the next 10 years is probably on point. I shouldn't say lull, but reaching a sort of reboot status, as it were.
Yeah.
He and his team are probably more correct on that than anybody on either side would like to admit. I don't think that's bad insofar as like comic book movies altogether. It just means that it will actually give a little bit more segmentation to other things, and especially if everything's going to be brand new, then everything is brand new and there's nothing to compare one way or the other. So it might be a very good time for DC and Warner Brothers to strike when they're in, for lack of a better term, the strife of transition at Marvel Studios.
Yeah.
And that's not me like saying, "Oh, Marvel Studios is gonna fail," or no, because I love the Marvel movies too. Like,
And
it's just I don't have to worry about that shit at all.
Let me throw this out at you. Do you think people the common theater goer, and Leo, I'm gonna ask you this. Ask you this.
Common theater goer, I love that guy.
You went to see Thor. Now, just coming from seeing Thor, Marvel putting out their movies like they do, and DC putting out their movies that they do. Do you think people are going to suffer superhero fatigue? Do you think DC's business strategy and Marvel's business strategy, like you mentioned, Brandon, just now, do you think it's a good idea to go for people to recover from the superhero fatigue?
So
Yeah,
go for it.
No, sir. It's your show.
It's our show,
it's our show.
You are our fearless Leoder.
One of us.
One of us.
So I think there is going to be some fatigue. Definitely some superhero burnout. But the core users like us, we're still going to watch everything, but it's going to be the average Marvel viewer isn't going to watch half the stuff, but then they're going to get lost because then you have stuff like WandaVision. If you didn't watch WandaVision, you're lost in Doctor Strange, and it's going to continue to go that route. So I think they may have some issues with tying into shows and the movies all together. But as geeks and dorks, we absolutely love it, but not everybody will.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I thought I
go ahead. No, I was gonna say, I agree with Brandon, like if they do a reboot, in 10 years after some burnout, kind of like what DC is doing, and look at Paramount with Star Trek, they've rebooted Star Trek how many times, and it's right now they are in a groove, and Star Trek is awesome now. They've hit.
I'm struggling so hard through fucking Discovery season 3 right now, though, dude. I'm like Dara and I halfway through it, and we were gonna put on an episode last night, and we were just like, oh my god, there's still like 7 episodes left in this season. Why? 1 and 2 were awesome, exactly like you had said. And then I was like, I want to watch 3 and 4 before we get to Strange New Worlds, and we're halfway through 3, and I'm like, why does it say 13 episodes when I feel like we've been watching this for 5 years?
Yeah, 3 was a little long. That's the one where they're following the red stars, right?
I don't fucking know, dude. I barely pay attention to this season. It sucks. The second season was the whole Red Angel thing.
Oh, okay. So
yeah, which I saw coming from a mile away.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, like the first time I saw the silhouette of it, I'm like, that's a woman's hips. Like straight up, I'm like, that is Michael. That's Michael traveling through fucking time. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
And then her mom shows up wearing the fucking suit, and what's her name? Philippa starts approaching.
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh, this is a very nice suit." She goes, "Yeah, and it's coded to my DNA, so don't even think about trying to use it." And I was like, "Oh, but I guess that means Michael could use it later, right?"
Yeah.
Like,
okay, I know where you are. Yeah, that season they
Makes
like
one of
all the
us.
so like all the dilithium exploded.
The burn.
The burn, yeah. So yeah, they're trying to figure out what caused it. So yeah, and it's. I'm not going to say what it is. Yeah.
I'm halfway through.
No. I mean the whole season is that mystery.
Oh, I know it is. I know it is.
Yeah.
Like I understand. Like it's a modern show,
Yeah.
so they're gonna have a thing each season. It makes sense.
Yeah, but keep watching it because season 4, strong Tilly, like
That's
and
fine by me. All right,
yeah.
fine. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's light at the end of the tunnel because I love Tilly and so does Dara. And if I tell her like, oh, there's like a lot of Tilly centric stuff in season 4, so let's just power through this horse shit, I'm sure she'll be game. But regardless of that, I'm sorry, you were right. Like Paramount has done a very good job with rebooting this current iteration of Star Trek, much like what DC is gearing up to do and what Marvel is likely going to have to do within the next like 5 to 7 years.
Yeah, and DC, they have experience in rebooting the entire universe. Like every 5 years or 10 years, we get another crisis event. We're going through one right
no
now.
shit.
Yeah,
multiple crises.
Yeah, but Marvel, from what I understand, Marvel hasn't gone through that. Everything's existed.
Yeah.
So I mean, they haven't gone through a complete reboot. So how are they going to get back to, young Captain America?
Yeah, that's it's going to be interesting and tricky. But that's part of the reason why I think Zaslav is making a push in stressing the point of DC films, DC movies being theatrical events, theatrical releases, because it seems to me like they're going to focus on maintaining the brand and any sort of continuity primarily through movies altogether and not trying to make television shows as interstitial stories and required viewing for connectivity.
Yeah.
I think that's a very wise move. It may prove to be the pebble in the road for Marvel Studios. You know what I mean? Like it seemed like such a great idea to start, but like you said, Leo, like it stops being fun. I mean, I'm paraphrasing you obviously, but it stops being fun and starts becoming homework. And for dorks and geeks like us, okay, I got nothing better to do. Like this is literally what I fucking like live for. But the average individual, common moviegoer, that guy, he's not going to be as invested necessarily in.
Well, also look. Oh, sorry.
Well, I was going to say DC also as Warner Brothers Entertainment / Warner Brothers Discovery, they are also able to explore darker aspects and facets of characters, and we've mentioned it before in private conversations and stuff for sure. That DC is actually more well positioned at this point to be able to do like one shots, like Black Label esque movies, whereas they can take a character that and that you've seen multiple iterations of and do a completely different side venture, much like you would get a one shot prestige format story in a comic book. That's sort of like what Matt Reeves' Batman is right now.
Yeah, and Joker.
And Joker by Todd Phillips. Exactly. And we're getting a sequel to that.
Yep.
So I think there's a lot of opportunity in the variation that that Warner Brothers and DC has insofar as what projects they've even already released. I mean, look at the Suicide Squad, and Peacemaker, and Doom Patrol. You know, these are certain projects that are really like off center and certainly not for all audiences. You are not really getting a whole lot of that from Marvel Studios at all.
No.
Well, also thinking of, business sense, you know, getting eyeballs to the streaming service. Disney did a great job with bringing a lot of people on for the Marvel stuff. But, you know, when Marvel's over, are you watching Disney Plus? I know I'm not.
Not really, no.
But HBO, I watch HBO constantly.
Yeah.
And so like, when they make a movie, it's going to hit the theaters. People are going back to the theaters. Top Gun is still making tons of money.
It's now officially the king of the world because it dethroned Titanic as the highest grossing film.
Did it really?
Yes.
Yeah.
The fucking movies I think it will be. Jesus Christ.
It's what, 70 days in, and it still made $1 million.
Billion.
What? No. I'm talking about.
I think he's talking about like one day totals.
Sales.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Like it still broke. Like it's what the hell was it? It was higher than Thor the other day.
Yeah.
But so like DC movies, they're gonna come out at the theater, and then like 45 days later they'll be on HBO, and we'll watch it then as well. But then there's so much other stuff on HBO that will just stay there.
We got Mag Med here who says Marvel has to use Hulu more for the more adult content. Yeah, but they've been moving away from putting Marvel branded stuff on Hulu specifically. I mean, they
had
got
MODOK, and I think that was it.
They canceled, and they decided not to do anything with the Hitmonkey thing. What was it? Hellstrom wasn't right.
Yep.
Son of Satan. That's literally his name from the comic, Hellstrom, Son of Satan. That was like blink and you miss it. They're not really making a big push. I think they're really trying to use Hulu for their 20th century stuff, which makes absolute sense. That's why Prey premiered on Hulu last week, which was amazing. It really was. I was so happy for Amber Midthunder. She played Carrie in Legion on FX. She is really talented, and I was very pleased to see her in such like a big profile flick. Because she is really talented. Prey was great. I agree, Meg.
Did you read some of the like hidden stuff in Prey? Like in Predator, wasn't one of the main characters called Beaver?
I don't know.
Maybe. Wait, was it?
It has been so long since I've seen Predator.
No, wait. What do you mean Beaver? There was like
what was it? So she said
Billy.
she's smarter than the animal.
Oh. No, there was no character in the first Predator named Beaver.
Okay, yeah, I'm thinking of something else. So whatever she said it was, like when they're setting that trap, and they're talking about the animals and stuff like that, and she says she's smarter than that animal, and that animal was a nickname for one of the main characters in the original Predator.
Oh, okay.
But also when she's whistling at the end, apparently that is against, I don't know if it's the hunter code or something like that. It's like totally bad luck for the Native Americans to whistle at night because it brings the demons.
Oh no shit.
And when she's doing the
whistling, just kind of leans into the lore.
Like, yeah. It's awesome stuff.
I mean, if you want to tie in the original with this one a little bit, I mean, there's a theory, and no one's really mentioned this theory, but we mentioned it when we recorded our show today. Obviously, one of the main characters in the original Predator, his name was Billy, and he's played by Sonny Landham. And he has like that Native American sense. He can sense things, you know.
Wait, what?
Obviously,
that Native American sense?
yes.
He
You know, he's
bit by a radioactive Indian?
No, he's a tracker. He can track footprints and fit, you know, all that stuff. So there's a theory going around that obviously he is Native American. His character's Native American in the original film.
So he has tracking skills?
Yes.
Okay.
But what people are speculating is it's a tie that, not including the little Easter egg we got, but the character may have a familial tie with an ancestral tie with that character from the first movie.
Oh. Okay.
Just a theory. And a lot of people are speculating a theory now. So
I think her name was Naru.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it was pretty cool. I mean, the second I saw the French fur traders, the second I saw them, I was like, oh, okay. So one of those guys is going to have the gun that they tossed to Danny Glover at the end of Predator 2, right? And then sure enough, like, not only that, they took care of it and polished it in the interim.
And the thing about the gun, you know, I don't know if you guys know about a DC Comics comic.
Yeah, I've heard of the company.
No, or Dark Horse. I'm sorry, a Dark Horse comic that came out after Predator 2 came out, and it was about the guy whose name is on the gun, and he was yeah, he was a pirate, and he wound up going up against a predator on an island. His pirate brethren left him behind, and he was basically, I don't know, that took place before Prey. So I guess they retcon the comic, but if any of you saw like the cave drawing, which was like a post-credit scene of sorts, after the cave drawing goes to the event of the film.
Yeah, I watched it. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, so obviously, if you get the gist of the post-credit scene cave drawing, obviously the Predators are gonna get the gun and bring it to Danny Glover. So
yeah, it definitely looked like more showed up. It's interesting to think that Prey may actually be the reason, like, within the movies, not containing anything from the Dark Horse comics or anything like that.
Yeah.
But the fact that the events of Prey may be what brought I can never remember the species name. Yakuts or something. Yakuza? I think that's the Japanese mob.
Yeah, it is.
Predator race. I'm just going to type it in. Yautja. Yautja. Or Yautja. That's what it is. Yautja. But I guess the implication is that the events of Prey are what sparks their interest, you know, piques their interest in Earth as a sort of game reserve.
Yeah.
And I enjoy that idea very much, especially because while watching the movie, you see that the Predator is going around and working its way up the food chain. It's killing small things, then larger things, and larger things, and you know, finally gets to the point where it's going after the men that it sees. And I just absolutely love the fact that it never once looked at Naru as a threat, and he was so fucking wrong, you know, like incredible. And that she combined her own skills of hunting and fighting with the things she learned from her mother as a medicine woman, as well as her own observations, her keen skills of observation, to make note of the fact that the medicinal flower that they used somehow prevented that thing from being able to see her. Like that was such a subversion of what I thought was going to happen, because when she walked into that fucking mud pit
Oh yeah, yeah. I
midway through
thought
the
that.
movie,
Yep.
and they subverted that so well. The fact that they, I'm not, I don't know, put a banner up, I guess. No, no, I'm not gonna do it. Whatever, I'll just say it. Spoiler, whatever. If you haven't seen it, spoiler for Prey. But when the thing walks in and gets stuck in the mud and then just like comes up covered, I was like, all right, I did not have Predator rising up from the fucking mud covered in that shit on my bingo card for this. Did not. And the second I saw that triangle on the side of its head, I was like, no fucking way. And goddamn, I mean, it was brilliant. It was done well.
Another thing that
Yeah,
was
like-
brilliant about this is obviously we know the Predator has a multitude of weapons in its arsenal throughout the movies. Obviously, the Predator did not utilize a lot of weapons given the time period, and given how Nauru had not a lot of weapons. She had a bow. She had the badass hatchet that she had, but using those to her and her smarts on as her advantage. Predator only had like the laser sight that had the arrows, and then had the stick, and then had some things. It made Another theory I had was each Predator goes through whatever time period they go through. They have the certain weapons that, because it wouldn't, they're trophy, they're game players and using.
Yeah.
It's like if you play Halo and you're using a cheat code, in a matchmaking session, it's kind of
you
jamming
gotta
to
think
the whole thing.
You got to think too that, I mean, the public at large, the zeitgeist, our first interaction with Predator was in the 80s, which is 200 plus years past the story that we're talking about right now. So who knows what technology might have been developed, what weaponry might have been developed between Prey and the movie Predator as well.
Right.
So it might not even be like, certain things for certain times. It's like, well, no, some things may not have actually been around, much like, look at the gun that they had back then. I mean, you got a semi-automatic now. How long would it take them to load that thing after they were done shooting it? Freaking game over.
Well, also, if you think of the predators as hunters, if you think about us hunting, we're going to go into an area with like a gun or like a bow and arrow. You bring a weapon for your prey. We don't know if they scan the world to see, oh, there's no civilization here. It's probably just animals. We're going to go and see, what animals are there and what we can kill. So it's just probably because Earth wasn't as civilized.
Besides, I
that they
mean,
didn't bring
honestly,
any weapons. That's a possibility
I think the coolest thing that particular Yautja had wasn't even its weaponry. It was that fucking skull mask.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. Like, clearly fashioned that from a kill on some other planet. I thought that was a pretty cool touch, man.
And when are you ever going to see a Predator tackle a bear? That was fucking amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Now,
I was gonna say, aside from that, we totally just went on a tangent on that because it was such a good movie and it deserves to be talked about positively. But yeah, Disney has certainly made a push with their 20th century stuff over to Hulu side, and they're still keeping their more family friendly fare as well as their big brands like Star Wars and Marvel over to Disney Plus. And that's all fine and dandy, but like you said, Leo, when I'm done watching the new show for either one of those two franchises I just mentioned, I don't really visit Disney Plus all that much. I mean, I will say the most I watched it aside from either of those two things was when my wife and I finally said, "Hey, fuck it, let's watch that Gravity Falls show that Justin Cooper keeps telling
Oh
me
yeah,
about."
yeah.
And I'm glad we did. And they had everything there, the show proper and the shorts that they showed like online or some stuff like that. And but that's really the most that I've used Disney Plus. And I mean, for me, I paid for it for 3 years up front for like $130 when it first came out. So I'm
Well,
good up until November. I don't know.
Brandon, to go back to what you said about Hulu having exclusive the 20th Century Fox stuff, that's not the case because scouring through Disney Plus, I noticed that Disney Plus has some R-rated 20th Century Fox stuff. Obviously, they dropped the Deadpool movies and Logan, which good for them. But they've also dropped some very obscure R-rated 20th Century Fox movies like Kiss of the Dragon, Full Monty, and they're
I
even
love that
rebooting.
movie.
They're even rebooting Full Monty for Disney Plus. Which I don't even know how in the hell they're going to pull that off.
Well, I mean, the Full Monty never showed nudity, so I mean, they could still get away with that.
Yeah,
they could. I mean, they could have it be essentially the same story and Disneyfy it. I mean, really, it could very easily be done. I would not be surprised by that.
I mean, I know Hulu and Disney are the same property, like they're under the same umbrella, but
Yeah.
Hulu doesn't have isn't the only one that is exclusive to 20th Century Fox stuff.
Well, I'm not saying it's exclusive. I'm saying they make more of a push towards Hulu with that stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's that. I mean, like for example, they premiered Prey on Hulu.
Yeah.
They did not premiere Prey on Disney Plus. You get what I'm saying?
Although it will be on Disney Plus soon.
But they didn't premiere it there. Like,
right.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they're still using Hulu as a. Sorry.
Yeah. I'm working on it.
Yeah, you and I keep going at the same time, and just as I'm about to hit the button, it's like error. I'm like, oh, Leo, you got it.
Yeah. Just one thing, real quick, with Disney and Hulu. It's two separate things. Plus, Hulu has like the live TV, so that's a whole different, business plan. But HBO, I believe, I think it's happening in the fall. They're merging Discovery Plus with HBO.
From what I understand, it's going to be an entirely new thing by summer of 2023.
Okay, summer.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, and that's the smart move. Just bundle everything together. You don't have to go to two separate apps.
Yeah.
Just
I mean, I guess
yeah.
but like, what about someone like me who doesn't care about Discovery Plus?
Oh, you
exactly.
will. You
I will. Okay, I may grow a foot and a head of hair by the end of this show. We'll see if it peters out that way.
Well, technically, you did grow a head a couple times throughout the show. I mean, you do have.
I just have to say all the paranormal shows are pretty good on Discovery.
And I'm glad that you enjoy them and that numerous other people do too. It's just not my bag. Discovery Plus.
No, but
I had somebody offer me a login for Discovery Plus like a year ago, and I was like, "Yeah, no thanks." Like I signed into it once, and I was just like, "This is not for me." Okay.
Well, the thing is, there's so much content on there. There could be one thing that you like, or it could be just what's already on HBO now, or the shows that they keep on adding. It's just HBO is just full of quality stuff.
Yeah.
It's there's more than just like Marvel.
Yeah, it'll be all encompassing, like what we're seeing with Disney Plus becoming. Honestly.
Yeah.
Yep.
And there's nothing wrong with that. That's fine. But the narrative where they're gonna get rid of like all the HBO shows and movies, all the Warner Brothers movies, like what?
Bullshit.
Like I had somebody literally say to me like, "Oh, pretty soon HBO Max is just going to be a tab on Discovery Plus with nothing but unscripted shows." I'm like, "What? Why? Why would you think that for a second? It's so much money just being burned. Like that's the Joker in The Dark Knight saying the things he likes are inexpensive, like gas and matches. You know, like that's knocking futz. I just can't wrap my head around that way of thinking. Ugh, people, I swear to God, this is all fucking. This is all El Maybe's fault. I swear. But yeah, I think we're in for a very interesting set of events when it comes to what's going on with both Marvel Studios and Warner Brothers. This could very much be a DC renaissance that we're about to see. And I'm not saying that with grandeur. I'm not. I'm saying it in like the academic sense. Like it is going to be a rebirth of what we've come to think of as what those pieces of art are. And in the best way, hopefully. If they keep involving themselves with truly creative people that actually understand and care about the properties they want to work on and establish, then I think they'll be in really good shape. And it I can't stress enough that they have been doing that consistently over at Warner Brothers for the past like half a dozen projects that they've done. And once again, like this is my own personal theory, and I think time has proven it more true than not. Warner Brothers understands for some reason that if you want to make a really good superhero movie, go to a horror director.
Yep.
You would be surprised the depth of knowledge they have of a lot of these comic book characters to start with, but because of the constraints of the genre that they favor working in, they understand that you have to really focus on character and story in order to sell the effects for what limited budget you may have. So it has to be engaging, like the best horror is. And that's why you're seeing guys like James Wan direct Aquaman, James Gunn direct The Suicide Squad and Peacemaker. I mean, that's part of the reason why he was so good with Guardians of the Galaxy. The guy fucking cut his teeth on trauma, for Christ's sake. It goes and I've said this before, it goes as far back as Richard Donner with Superman the movie. The guy was the fucking hot shit director of The Omen.
Yep.
And then he makes Superman the movie, which has become the archetypal superhero movie. Kevin Feige of Marvel Studios makes every production watch that movie before they start.
And don't forget about Tim Burton, obviously.
Tim Burton with Batman, even Joel Schumacher, known for The Lost Boys and Flatliners.
Yep.
Wes Craven directed Swamp Thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's right down the line. It's right down the line. I mean, even Christopher Nolan had done thrillers like Memento and Insomnia before he did Batman Begins.
Yeah.
So there's something to it. David F. Sandberg, who created Lights Out, did Shazam, and he's doing Shazam: Fury of the Gods.
I'm not sure if Patty Jenkins did anything.
She did the real life biopic thriller Monster starring Charlize Theron.
She did that? Holy shit.
Yeah, dude. That's what I'm saying. Like, who else? Andy Muschietti.
Oh, Andy Muschietti. Yep.
It's Muschietti.
Andy
Muschietti. Yeah. He's doing The Flash, and he just made an assload of cash for Warner Brothers with It and It Chapter 2. Yeah.
Pretty soon Salem's Lot.
What? Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's tied with Salem's Lot too.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I think he also he did. Did he do one of the Annabelle movies? I think he did
I think so. Yep.
Yeah, Annabelle Creation, I want to say. But yeah, like if you want creative people who bring ideas to the table to try to make the story and characters engaging, and then fill in the rest of it with what your spectacle is going to be, then you're going to win 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
You know, if you make it a good story and you make it believable, you make the audience believe that you think it's real, then they will come along for that ride with you. Kevin Feige has been able to inspire a lot of that in the people that he works with, and he picks a lot of the right people. But it cannot be denied that Marvel does have a bit of a paint by numbers vibe to it.
Yeah.
You know, there's very little room for creative flow, I think, because there has to be stringent guidelines met, especially because of the connectivity between every single one of their projects. I think if they can limit the connectivity with DC and have it at least be acknowledged that things do take place in the same realm essentially when they're supposed to, but not necessarily cross over constantly, they'll be in really good shape, especially if the only place you need to worry about seeing any of it is on the big screen itself. So I mean, I've honestly had nothing but, you know, confidence inspired in me by the things I've seen coming out of like the earnings calls and shit like that. That's just me. I know other people are very much doom and gloom about the whole situation.
Hey,
Especially
I'm right here.
As DC fans, you know, it's a constant hope, you know. So it's
yeah, it's Star Wars Episode 4 up in this bitch.
If they can kick it off with, you know, not even a reboot, but you know, just getting back to the core characters, like Batman. The new Batman is friggin' phenomenal.
Okay, I mean, the new Batman is great. If we could take a fucking pill for a second, though, on Batman.
Well, no. That's why I was about to say, move on to Superman. You know, get some awesome Superman stories flowing. Same thing with Wonder Woman, or you know, keep to the core characters. You know, just build that up first.
Yeah, and I think there is a tortoise in the hare mentality that is being adapted at this point. I mean, it's still like a little too late to say like, oh, we'll take our time because they need to play catch up a little bit. But I think they're being smart about the way they're going to catch up this time around. That it seems that way. And a lot of people I know are saying like, oh, well, they're not even telling us what their plan is. It's like, yeah, they don't fucking have to. Like, why would they? That's a corporate strategy. They don't want to share that with everyone. It makes more sense for them to do the things they want to do and let part of the hopefully shock and awe of a good thing be its own press. You know, if you fucking lay out everything you're gonna do, once again, there's no surprises. There's no piqued interest past a week from the day you explain what you're gonna do. You know,
And especially if they start leaking it, not leaking it out, but you know, like end of Black Adam. You know, start off with that. So what's the next movie we're getting? Is it Flash?
Black Adam, I
Black
think.
Adam. It's Black Adam. Yeah.
And then Flash.
And then Shazam.
No, Shazam, then Flash.
Wait, no. Well, hold on. Wait. God damn it. What the fuck? I have so many things up for like what we were talking about that I read and took notes on, but I didn't fucking write down any goddamn release dates for anything. Black Adam release date. Okay, October 21st, 2022 for Black Adam.
Oh, nice.
Right?
Okay.
Shazam, Fury of the Gods release date. December 21st, 2022. So like I said, Black Adam, then Shazam, and then The Flash is supposed to be next June. Actually, I think Aquaman's coming out in March. Aquaman's March, then The Flash in June. So yeah, that's 4 movies in a span of like 8 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if each movie has a little sprinkle of, you know, what their upcoming plan is going to be. You know, all it takes is just, adding in, a couple scenes here and there.
Yeah, I think they'll be in good shape. In all honesty, like I'm not. There's not a single one of those movies. I'm not talking about anything outside of the movies. Nothing that's happening with any of the players from the movies. Okay, just the movies themselves. There's been nothing of those 4 movies that I've at any point been worried about. If anything, I mean, if anyone had reservations about David F. Sandberg doing Shazam, I would like to think that a good portion of people out there who did see it, they enjoyed it, and they know they don't have to worry about Fury of the Gods. I think that movie looks like it's going to be big and fun. Black Adam, I'm intrigued by it. I've been interested in it. I'm not saying like it's top tier for me, mostly because I'm not worried. I just don't want to see this just be Dwayne Johnson in a Black Adam outfit. Like, Black Adam has a semi-tragic backstory, and I'm really hoping that Dwayne Johnson really leans into that. Because I do think he's a talented dude, but this is not the time for mugging and all that stuff, the raised eyebrow and what have you. And Aquaman, I mean, the first movie was such an unexpected delight. I have every confidence in James Wan in this sequel, for real. Like, I can't see it being a bad movie. And The Flash, from what everyone has said about the movie itself, it's superb. And no one has given any real indication of what is going to happen in the story. Like, we have flashes, we have, no pun intended, we do have snips here and there, and like a synopsis that could be mostly right, but things they even acknowledge, like, things were still in flux. Like, they had to do reshoots at the time, and that was before they did the stuff like 2 months ago. So, but by all accounts, like, it's supposed to be a really good story, and everyone in it is really good. And that's one of the most enraging things about Ezra Miller fucking around and finding out right now, is that apparently he himself is amazing in the movie. So let's see how it goes. Let's see how it all pans out all together. That's just within the next year.
Yeah.
So nowhere to go but up, really, for them at this point.
It is encouraging, and on that note, I'm going to let you guys finish the show. I've bugged you enough. I'm going to go back.
You didn't bug us at all, dude. Please
enjoy your vacation. Get out of here.
Yeah, totally. Okay.
And tell Megan we said thank you.
I will.
He won't.
See ya.
He won't say it.
Well, I'll tell her. She's
I know she walked by once, but
yeah.
You tell her we said thank you.
I will. Catch you guys later.
Bye, bud.
How do I get out of here?
I can kick you out if you want.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Bye, bud. I just kicked
Leo.
Leo.
He controls the damn system every week.
I got to kick Leo off the show. Where's my bucket list?
So
I mean, do you? Let me ask you, Steve. Do you feel a little more confident after we just had like a 3-way discussion about it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, honestly,
No,
like
I wish Leo was here, because what I'm about to say, hopefully he doesn't bully me about DC anymore, because I'm confident about I'm agreeing with you guys today. I'm confident with DC with their 10-year plan. I look forward to seeing what they have with their 10-year plan. This soft reboot that they want to do, okay, I'm interested in seeing what they're doing.
Yeah,
so
that's good, man. I'm not giving you a hard time, honestly, Steve.
No, I know. It's just like an inside joke between me and Leo. Hopefully,
I mean, it's more than an inside joke. He's done it on numerous episodes of this fucking show.
Yeah.
But then here's the thing, like, every single time I see it, it just you guys have this like big brother kid brother thing going on, and it's funny, Steve. Like you have to understand because you get over it real quick, which
Yeah.
is to your credit. But you do get so agitated when he does it that like this is the best advice I can give you on air in front of everyone. And this was what was said to me as a child whenever, I got like teased or picked on, okay? If you don't react to it, he won't do it anymore. Cuz you're giving him the reaction he wants.
I think he can hear you.
I know he can. I'm not worried about it. I acknowledged I was saying this on air. It's all good.
Well,
But,
anyway, besides Prey, were there any other awesome things that you watched this week?
Anything awesome that I watched? I don't know. I mean,
Or anything you watched? Like,
I watched. Let's see. I watched Only Murders in the Building on Hulu.
I haven't seen the new episode yet.
All right. Well, it's the middle of the season, so they didn't solve it yet. No worries. Let's see. I still have to watch last week's episode of The Orville. My wife and I watched the show Uncoupled, starring Neil Patrick Harris on Netflix. He plays a guy who plans a 50th surprise birthday party for his boyfriend, and at the surprise party, he gets a phone call from his maid saying that like somebody robbed the apartment and took a bunch of stuff. He calls his boyfriend, freaking out, doesn't hear from him. He shows up at the place where his boyfriend thinks it's just going to be a nice, quiet dinner between the two of them, and he's like, "Yeah, no, that we weren't burgled. I moved out." And after 17 years, he just like splits, and it's really good. The guy who plays his ex boyfriend from the start, I guess. He played Pistol Pete in Parks and Recreation. His name is Tuck Watkins. He's actually in real life, he's in a relationship with Andrew Rannells. You know who Andrew Rannells is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Book of Mormon, and
Mhm.
he's the voice of Matthew on Big Mouth. Yeah, apparently they've been together for a couple of years now. But yeah, it was a really good show. It was Neil Patrick Harris is really talented. But yeah, it was really good. It was like 8 episodes long or something like that. Real quick. And we're getting caught up on this current season of Evil on Paramount Plus. It's surprisingly good.
So, me and my girlfriend are going between like different shows. Like, obviously, we're finishing up Breaking Bad. Obviously,
Oh my God, Better Call Saul. Duh. So we
we
watched that.
haven't seen Better Call Saul yet. I know it's on Netflix, and I know
At all?
we haven't seen a single episode because we're finishing Breaking Bad first.
Oh wow. Okay. That's what I'm saying. At all. Like you haven't seen a
We're
single
on
episode.
we're on season 5 and like episode 12.
Wow. Okay,
We're
so
close. We're close to being done.
But what I'm saying is you've never seen a single episode of Better Call Saul.
No, because I wanted to go in chronological order the way that it was, released. Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, and then, well,
Yeah,
technically, Breaking Bad, El Camino, then Better Call Saul. The wave, anyway. But that's, but the one that I watched this week and I really liked, and I'm kind of a sucker for documentaries. It was on Netflix. It was called Trainwreck Woodstock 99.
I put that on my list. Yeah.
It had the same feel as another documentary on HBO Max last year called Woodstock 99 Peace, Music, and Rage. But there are differences. It's not the same as that one. In the Woodstock 99 Peace, Music, and Rage on HBO Max last year, they got a fan perspective of what happened in Rome, New York. This one, Trainwreck, is a lot more talking with John Schur, the promoter and the guy that did the business partnership with Michael Lang. They talk with Michael Lang, and they recorded the interview with him 3 months before he passed away, and he was the one who created the original Woodstock. They talk with some of the band members like Jewel and Jonathan Davis of Korn. They talked to some of the security people who were in the thick of it all.
Jesus.
Some of the administrative people that were there. They talk about how basically some of the shady business practices that John Scher and Michael Lang were responsible for. And it was, for those of you who don't know, Woodstock 69 was at the time, with everything going on at that time period, it was a festival about peace and love.
They're just bringing everybody together. Like,
yeah. And
yeah.
the guy
It was, I mean, even then, though, it was a logistical nightmare. It was. But
yes.
This was a shit show in 99.
Yeah. 30 years later, they wanted to get a repeat because
but they went fucking so corporate with it.
They did.
Oh my God. Yeah. Now, Steve, I'm not trying to be that. How old are you, buddy?
33.
33. Okay. I was 17 years old in high school when Woodstock 99 hit. And my wife and I, we saw on Netflix that the documentary was there. That's why I put it on my list. And we both immediately started commenting on how much of a nightmare it was just seeing it on TV, like as it was being reported going on in 99. Like, it was fucking horrific to behold the footage that they were showing on like MTV and stuff. It looked terrible. Like, all of, like, my wife and I are the same age. Like, all of our friends, like, we remember seeing it and like coming into school the next day and be like, what the, the at the end of the weekend, like, what the fuck did they do? Like, at that point in time, 99, like, we were hearing like they were selling bottles of water for like $6 a piece, and like just not anywhere near enough
and they go
hygienic
into
facilities.
They go into that in the Trainwreck documentary. They explain how that originally Michael Lang wanted to have
did they say anything about all the fucking porta potties being pushed over at the same? Oh my God.
They actually interviewed someone from the Department of Public Health from New York, and why on the third day all the water pipes were shut down. They literally they explained why that happened. And it was fascinating why throughout the 3-period event, if you knew what was going on underground, you didn't even want to go there because it was, in a safety standpoint, at all, regardless.
So what was the name of the documentary again?
Trainwreck Woodstock 99
on Netflix.
Yeah.
I
mean, if you want,
check that out.
If you want to see, after you see that, I recommend seeing Woodstock 99 Peace Music and Rage on HBO Max, because that's another fantastic one.
That sounds like an interesting double feature for sure. No, seriously, I'm not being sarcastic.
No. It is a good double feature. I mean, it's just,
you could even do a triple feature, and not with a documentary, but you could watch the movie Taking Woodstock, just to cleanse your palate a little bit, for real. Like, be like, okay, this is like a nice story about people coming together. All right, now back into the corporate demonhood of all of this shit. Yeah. Oh, you know what? The other thing I did watch this week, and I have been watching consistently, is Westworld season 4 on HBO.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's been 2 years since season 3 ended because they got holed up due to COVID-19. But holy shit, man! Like, the I don't know. Did you ever watch Westworld, Steve?
No.
Oh, okay. If you get the chance, I do recommend checking it out for sure. It's a head trip. First season, fucking absolutely phenomenal. Second season, pretty good. Third season, weird. And fourth season, they're sort of like bringing it back a bit to what you recognize from the first season, but within the context of what has already occurred altogether over the course of the story.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of well, I don't want to say too much because you haven't seen it, but like there's a lot of playing around with memory and timelines and stuff like that. It's very interesting. And this coming Sunday is the season finale of season 4, and just wow, the performances in it. From last season into this season, Aaron Paul joined the cast, and I'm so happy to see him doing well in it because I've been worried for the guy for a while. He's so good in Breaking Bad. I just didn't want Breaking Bad to be the only thing he really like became ultra known for. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
it's not only that; it's also the tequila him and Bryan Cranston have been pushing for.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I mean, performance wise, acting
Yeah,
wise,
yeah.
like it's good to see him getting something that is so far removed from Jesse in that show that it's refreshing. It's comforting, to see like, oh, good, a talented actor is getting different roles. Um, but everybody else in it is, I mean, Tim Dwayne Newton is always excellent. Jeffrey Wright, the first season, Anthony Hopkins is in it, just amazing. What's his name? Luke Hemsworth. Uh, Not Liam or Chris, but he plays Thor in the Goofy plays in the
Yeah.
Thor movies. That's Chris Hemsworth's brother, Luke. Um, he's one of the main like security guys for the Westworld theme park. And Ed Harris is fucking chilling as the Man in Black. He is just he's fucking insane. Jeremy. Holy moly, you boys are still going? Sorry I couldn't make it tonight, but it seems you both held it down for all us slackers. Thanks, Jar Jar. We appreciate it. We're getting ready to wrap it up. But yeah, so if you get a chance, Steve, honestly, like it's done really well. It was created by Jonah Nolan, um, the brother of Christopher Nolan.
Okay.
He's written or co-written a bunch of Chris Nolan's movies. And I think Lisa Joy is the co-creator's name, and it's produced by Bad Robot, J.J. Abrams' production company. So that guy loves a fucking puzzle box. So make of that what you will. But yeah, that's been really good. If you enjoy any sort of like mind fuckery / Matrix-esque kind of stuff that's not all leather S&M trench coat gear,
Or
then
anything by Ari Aster.
but it's good. I think you should give it a shot, man. I'd be really interested to hear your thoughts on it for real.
Well, like I mentioned, me and my girlfriend have a lot of things we're watching now, and once we get through them, I will put Westworld on the catalog.
Yeah, like I said, man, get to it when you get to it. Just let me know because I would love to talk with you about it. I
Yeah,
honestly would.
definitely.
And just so you know, I don't know if you're aware of it. It's actually based on a movie that was written and directed by Michael Crichton.
Really?
Yeah, it's the joke I've always hold on, George. I'm gonna hit season 2 again since you're recommending it, Brandon. Definitely got to pay attention more. Season 1 was great, and you're right about the Man in Black. Damn straight, man. Um, but oh shit, he just threw me off. What was I saying? The fuck was I saying, Steve?
I was just listening.
You're not helping me. Oh god,
That's
sucks.
that's what happens when you have an edible for pre-gaming.
No, it's not at all. I have ADHD, and then I looked at the fucking comments because I have to do that too. Crichton, thank you.
Right.
I appreciate that, Jar Jar. You're the fucking man now, dog. And Westworld the movie was done by Crichton. I don't know if you know the premise of Westworld. Do you?
No.
So rich people go to this like Western style huge amusement area. It's all like the old West. And they can do whatever they want there and have gunfights and blah blah. But like all the workers there, they're all androids. They're all robots that
Really?
are there to do whatever the humans want or what have you. And then there's some glitchy revoltage, and of course, everything goes to shit. And it's like, oh, shouldn't have played God. Look what we did, that kind of deal. And I was like, oh, so Jurassic Park is just Westworld with dinosaurs instead of androids. Got it.
That makes sense.
Yeah. They actually made a sequel to Westworld as well called Future World. That I think that had Peter Fonda in it. Um, you ever see Family Guy and they do one of those cutaways where it shows Lois holding the gun and there's two Peters
Yeah.
and she pulls the trigger and she's like, "Oh, I hope I picked the right one." He goes, "It's okay now, Lois. It's okay." And she turns around and then his face falls and he's a robot and slaps back up. That is a reference to Future World.
Okay.
But yeah, like they took the idea of Westworld and just made it into this high concept sci-fi show, and holy fucking shit, man, it's a good one. It's a good one. But yeah, so anyway, yeah, we gave our thoughts on, the cautious optimism of DC Warner Brother Discovery's potential 10-year plan. And thank you, Tom. Peter Fonda was in Future World. See, look at me. Oh man, that subroutine IMDb will never beat that. But
we talked about Marvel and their plan for the next couple of years. We reviewed Prey for a spell. And then we talked about the trials and tribulations of Ezra Miller. And yeah, I think we covered all bases. So
and how Giancarlo Esposito might be very good for a role in a Marvel production, but not the fucking roles that everybody keeps saying.
Right.
And I still want to know who the fuck Dr. Freeze is. I'm so confused because I've seen that being reported around. I'm like, that doesn't make sense, folks.
If Jeremy was here, he'd probably know who Dr. Freeze was.
Well, he's not, so thanks for nothing. But yeah, so anyway, let's do our thing here. Okay, where do we want to? Come on, I want to blow you up. Solo layout, Steve. Tell people, where they can find you and hear your dulcet tones.
So you can find our award-winning podcast, Super Retro Throwback Reviews, on all major podcasts and distributors and exclusively on the Dorkening Podcast Network. Also, we have I'm here every Wednesday on the Dorkening. And check out our Patreon. And all the links of where you can find us are in the show notes. But yeah, we're over the moon excited we won our first award, but our first
say that with more enthusiasm, Steve, please.
I'm once I get it in my hands at the end of the month or like the first week of September, I'm gonna fucking show it off. But episode 209 of Super Retro Throwback Reviews, Hunter, Hunted, Prey comes out on Monday. If you are a Patreon backer, you get it 3 days before everyone else.
All right, groovy, man. And for all you guys and gals out there, my name is Brandon Powers, aka Powerful Brandon. You can find me here every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you feel so inclined, check out the Powers Combined Facebook group. It's just a group of dorks that get together and have fun, share info and memes, have fun discussions, and ask questions. Our number one rule is don't be a jerk. If you violate that, we will boot you immediately because nobody needs to have their fandom teased or made fun of. That's not what we're about. And there's no such thing as gatekeeping there. So you can stick that where the sun don't shine. If you'd like to follow me on the socials, you can check me out on Twitter at Brandon's Powers and on Instagram at This Brandon Has Powers. And you can also hear me on a couple of podcasts that have just come out through the Dorkening Podcast Network. They come out bi-weekly, switching off every other week between each show. The first one is The Dork Night, which has myself, Justin Cooper, and Leo Pond, in which we discuss all things Batman. They're the big time Bat fans, and I am there to be the devil's advocate and guy who is just really tired of seeing Thomas and Martha Wayne killed in everything. Uh, and you can check us out in Comics Paradox as well, in which we cover alternate reality takes and tales on characters and stories that have already been well established, such as What Ifs or Elseworlds, as well as story arcs like Amalgam Comics from both Marvel and DC, or the Heroes Reborn storyline from Marvel Comics, so on and so forth. And both of those, like I said, they get released bi-weekly, 8 a.m. on Sundays, so they will be available after that point for your listening pleasure. And aside from that, I think we're pretty good here, so we just want all you to have a great night, okay? Bye, everybody. Thank you.